Hi, I'm Jess, co-host of the Elder Tree podcast and herbalist at Evans Head Naturopathy. You're listening to the Self-Care with Herbs segment, where each month I invite a new guest to chat about how weaving plants into their days enriches their experience of self-care, exploring routines, rituals and recipes for elevating mind, body and spirit. In this episode, I chat with Hanna Navara, regenerative hemp farmer, activist and permaculture enthusiast. It was a permaculture course held at Mullumbimby Community Gardens alongside a diploma in organic farming that really sparked Hanna's interest in the plant world in a deeper way. Hanna had been heavily involved in environmental activism and had a passion for growing food and plants, and found she really wanted to positively contribute to the solution of a healthy future for the people and our planet. This passion to contribute led her and her partner Leon towards an interest in growing hemp, which was inspired by the MardiGrass Festival in Nimbin, New South Wales. It was here that she first got her hands on a jar of hemp seeds. In 2018, Hanna and her partner Leon, with their jar of hemp seeds, engaged in a share farming journey in Broadwater on the Richmond River. The land was sandy, flat swampland, and with neither her or her partner hailing from a farming background, there were lots of lessons learnt as they planted out their first crop of hemp. Solemn Farm in the Clarence Valley, a working organic medicinal herb farm run by Cheryl and Mike Smith, provided the next opportunity for Hanna and Leon. Here they spent nearly 3 years learning alongside Cheryl and Mike and planting out 3 hemp crops on about an acre of land. Hanna speaks of the many lessons learnt during this time, from inviting herbal allies like calendula, tulsi and mugwort into her days, to the importance of having robust systems in place for harvesting, drying and packaging plant material. Hanna and Leon now share farm in Kyogle near the Border Ranges, where they have a little more space for their hemp and have this year planted out a 5-acre hemp crop. During our chat, Hanna brings an interesting perspective to the concept of self-care. Rather than focusing on the individual practices that nourish her, Hanna zooms out and looks at self-care from a very broad level. She talks about bringing in the systems thinking from her permaculture training to help her mind map out all areas of her life and the balance she'd like to achieve, a mix of practical, spiritual and body care. Hanna was in the late stages of pregnancy when we chatted and was really enjoying leaning into learning about the herbal allies to support her. She speaks of her connection with blood-building and nutritive nettle, creating herbal elixirs, and nourishing molasses-based herbal syrups. We also explore all of the wonderful ways hemp can be used for self-care, both nutritionally and topically, from delicious salad dressings to bliss balls and nourishing herbal balms and oils. I think you'll really enjoy hearing Hanna's unique approach to self-care. I certainly learnt a lot. Hi Hanna, I'm so excited that you could join me today and I'm really looking forward to our chat.
Yes, hello. Hi Jess, thanks for having me on the podcast.
I'm so excited, Hanna, to have this conversation with you today. As you know, we'll be talking all about self-care with herbs. And in particular, I'd really like to chat about your relationship with hemp, because I know that's a plant that you have a really strong relationship with right now. But before we dive in there, I'd really like to know where that first spark came for you. What part of your life did that occur, and what sort of plants did you first start to have a relationship with?
Yeah, so the hemp journey for me, well, it kind of began with, I guess, moving up to the Northern Rivers. So I grew up in Sydney, still with like a very kind of healthy and plant-based lifestyle. Like my parents and grandparents were always really into health food in like a European kind of way. But yeah, when I was about 25 and had done some international traveling, I decided to do a Cert 3 in permaculture at Mullumbimby Community Gardens. And that's kind of started my journey in the Northern Rivers and studying like organic farming and permaculture in general. So yeah, I did that course and I completed a diploma in organic farming with TAFE at the same time. And all throughout that time, I was very involved in activism, specifically trying to stop extractive practices such as like coal and coal seam gas, logging of native forests. So I was always trying to kind of incorporate my activism and my passion for growing food and plants together. And it was about during the Stop Adani campaign, which was kind of like in its really big peak in like 2016, 2017, 2018. We were doing lots of trips up to the mining site there in Bowen in central Queensland. And it was a lot of kind of protesting and saying, no, we don't want this. No, we don't want that. It was a lot of kind of energy of like, no, this isn't what we want. And so it really got me thinking about what we could positively contribute to the solution. And that kind of led into growing hemp, which is what I'm doing now. So I looked at like a few different projects. There was solar thermal, which is like an alternative form of renewable energy. And we kind of like focused on a little fundraiser to try and get that going. And then I was quite inspired by MardiGrass in Nimbin, and I guess the kind of cannabis culture in general in the Northern Rivers. And hemp was kind of like becoming more and more popular. Like I think it was 2009 that they actually allowed hemp seed oil to be consumed as a product for humans instead of only for dogs and animals, which it had been before. And people in general were starting to grow more hemp around the area. And me and my partner looked into getting a license, and it didn't seem too difficult. It was only like $500 and a little bit of paperwork. And yeah, we felt quite inspired by MardiGrass as well, which is a kind of festival that happens in Nimbin every year to support the legalization of cannabis, but it also has a very big hemp focus, hemp building, hemp fibers, hemp foods. And so that's where we got our first jar of seed. And that kind of led us into a whole share farming journey, which really kind of focused my plant medicine journey in on hemp and the cannabis plant. And then kind of like really broadly got me more connected with growing plants in general. So, yeah.
That's great, Hannah. I love hearing that story about how that passion was triggered by that move to the Northern Rivers in your 20s.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how your farming journey's unfolded?
Yeah, so we started with that first farm in about 2018. That was in Broadwater, which is kind of near Ballina. So it's like along the Richmond River, very sandy, very flat, kind of swampland area. And it was our first time kind of engaging in a share farming situation. Both me and my partner hadn't come from farming backgrounds. We didn't have any family land where we could grow on. So we just kind of naturally tried to negotiate some sort of rental agreement with an existing farmer. And yeah, that was our basic first attempt at it, where we decided we'd live and farm at the same place and pay like a rental package for both of them. But we were really fresh, like we didn't kind of realise, you know, that you needed to secure water, shelter, all these different things. We basically did that all ourselves. We were probably paying way too much just for this like plot of land, but in the end we learnt a lot of things like, we ended up putting a bore in there and connecting a pump and putting solar in and building shelters out of bamboo. So it was that kind of journey, was all like do it yourself, including like the planting, the harvesting, even the tilling of the soil. We did everything by hand for that first time, which was really hard because it was still amidst the drought time just before the 2019 fires. So it was very, very hot and very dry. But in hindsight, we learned a lot from that experience. And it kind of allowed us to know more what we needed for our next share farming experience.
And so from Broadwater, what happened next?
So then we moved to Solemn Farm in the Clarence Valley. We put an ad on a Young Farmers Connect group. We were ready to kind of live in a proper shelter or a proper house where we could also farm. It was always our vision that we wanted to live where we farmed, because obviously the distances in the Northern Rivers are so great already. Having to drive every day to your farm was just not something that we wanted to do. So we put an ad up, saying we were looking for a cottage and some acreage, and lucky the amazing Cheryl and Mike from Solemn Farm replied, and that begun, I think it was a 2-year journey or almost 3-year journey at Solemn Farm, where we did, I think, 3 crops in the end, 3 hemp crops there, and also learnt about all these other amazing medicinal herbs, because Solemn Farm is an organic medicinal farm, where essential oils are made from herbs grown on farm. So it was amazing to kind of see the farming production of all these other amazing plants on a medium scale as well. Because, at Solemn Farm, we were only growing hemp on about an acre. So it was still quite small scale, but very, certified organic, boutique, grown amongst all these other amazing herbs, rosemary, calendula, lemon myrtle, lemon tea tree. So it was very beautiful to see the hemp work in harmony with all these other plants. And we were there for 3 years or so, and then last year we moved to our current share farm, which is in Kyogle. So now we're along the border ranges. Solemn Farm was in the Clarence, and now we're kind of almost at the top of the Clarence in a way. So near like Wollongong, Kyogle, kind of close to the Queensland border, the area where a lot of the water is kind of coming from, and then it like flows down the Clarence and ends up at Yamba and Iluka. There's a lot more space out here. The farms are a lot bigger. It's about an hour and a half west of the coast. So there's like big paddocks, which kind of suits the hemp more, because we always did need a bit more space to grow hemp. We've just put in a 5-acre hemp crop. It's a winter crop. So we're like trialing just another season. Just with the seed that we have, we feel like it will work better in winter. And they're already coming up, so that's quite exciting. Little hemp seedlings. And we'll just see how it goes here, and see what happens. Like, we hope to not move to another share farm. This is our 3rd share farm now, and although it's amazing, it is a little bit exhausting moving the whole farm. So we're hoping this will be our last one, and we'll eventually be able to buy some land somewhere, and then we can like fully set up for the long term.
Wow, what a journey.
Yeah.
I loved hearing that, and I imagine that in each space that you've inhabited and grown, there's been different challenges, and I imagine the climate's been quite different and the soil, so lots of adaptation required as well.
Yes, definitely.
I wonder, Hannah, having spent some time with those medicinal herbs on Cheryl and Mike's farm, did any of those, after experiencing them and seeing them grow, make their way into your life in any way?
Yeah, well, definitely the calendula. So all of them were in my life because, yeah, we were also helping out in the farm a lot, like with harvesting and planting. So I was like quite involved with like the rosemary, the lemon myrtle, the lemon tea tree. But the calendula we loved mixing with the hemp. Because we just thought they went so well together. They're both quite resinous plants, like they have a lot of resin on them. And they both are kind of quite colourful and bright, and obviously like calendula is great for the skin repair. And hemp is really amazing on the skin as well. So together that like became a little balm that we make now. Yeah, so that was a really practical kind of way. But all the essential oils at like the Tulsi as well. I had so many Tulsi teas while I was there. And I've still got some cuttings from those beautiful Tulsi plants here in Kyogle. So I use that a lot, obviously. Like Tulsi is a really amazing adaptogen and just really good for like a relaxing kind of tea. And the essential oil is amazing as well in the diffuser, just really relaxing and calming. And mugwort was probably quite a big one there as well. We worked a lot with mugwort, and now I have like a big mugwort plant. It's absolutely huge right at my gateway or doorway, which the native bees are just loving at the moment. I don't use the mugwort that much at the moment, but I just kind of enjoy its presence there at the door. I feel like it's quite like guarding and looking over me. So really enjoy that. And yeah, just seeing how a small to medium scale organic herb farm operates, like the harvesting, the drying. Yeah, we learnt so much there. Specifically, I guess, in the drying and packaging and just how you really have to, package and dry the herbs really well for them to last. And that part of it is almost as important as the growing itself, which is very similar to hemp. Like, you plant this whole crop and you get these beautiful plants, you harvest them, and then it's like the hard work is really just beginning, because drying and storing, there's just so many things that can go wrong in that time, which can potentially lose your whole crop to those things that go wrong. So it's really important to kind of have those procedures all planned out for that time when you harvest, especially in the northern rivers when you're dealing with like high rainfall and mold issues.
Yes. So do you have calendula growing where you are now with the hemp?
Well, not yet, because it kind of took us quite a long time to work out that we were doing the hemp crop. We were almost thinking about going to Europe and having a break from farming for a bit. So we kind of didn't put too much in the ground, and then we only decided a few months ago that we want to do the hemp and trial it. But I would love to have some calendula in the ground, and definitely, like, the more we stay here, the more I think about other herbs like that. But out here, there's mostly like a lot of trees, like small trees, just kind of growing along the fence line, like all around the kind of barren cow paddock. So it's more kind of still in that regeneration phase here. You can kind of tell it's been really overgrazed and lots of cows, and that's kind of the whole vibe of this road. But there have been like over 2,000 trees actually planted So they're still coming up. So yeah, it doesn't feel like it's at the stage yet for like medicinal herb growing, but hopefully with the hemp as like a pioneer plant and getting more organic matter into the soil and like growing more of a vibe here so it's not so barren, the whole ecology will start to come together and we'll be able to grow some calendula, and the Tulsi seems to grow really well already, which is amazing. So yeah, and we've also got a bit of like syntropic kind of rose here put in, like the cassava, the taro, lemongrass, and all those kind of like fast growing plants for like a bit more shade. Yeah, but I look forward to calendula coming to the mix.
I loved hearing that, your description of how hemp and calendula coexist so beautifully because of their similarities in energy and growing habit and properties. And yeah, it's beautiful.
Totally, yeah.
Really lovely. I wanted to ask you, Hannah, when we chatted before we started recording, we spoke a little bit about what self-care means to you.
Yeah.
And I really loved how you described it quite broadly rather than going down into the nitty-gritty of, you know, the detail of what self-care means. You had a really broad understanding of what self-care meant, and it included things like your activism and caring for land. Do you mind going into that a little bit more about how that overarching, you know, how that kind of overarches the way that you live your life?
Yes, definitely. Well, yeah, I'm actually having a baby in July, and so at the beginning of the year, once I was like over all the morning sickness and stuff, I kind of really started thinking about how I wanted to incorporate all these all the most important aspects of my life into my life, so that I could like birth my child into that kind of vibe. And so I kind of honed down that, you know, the most important things for me were, you know, obviously living a healthy lifestyle, and then, you know, activism, so being involved in social and environmental change and standing up for what we believe in. And then there was also like hemp or like running a small business, and having like a family business that my child could kind of be a part of in the future. So it was a really good chance to kind of like think about how I wanted to live my life, because I just stopped working a full-time job, which was the total opposite of self-care, really. It was, just 5 days a week, no time for anything, not eating well, not doing anything well, really. So it was amazing that had finished. It was also good to do that for the time that it was, but it was so beautiful to have a clear space to kind of think, okay, I'm going to do 2 farmers markets a week, for the hemp seed oil. That's probably enough. Then I'll have a bit more time for being involved in, you know, frontline direct action out and about, or like also, you know, through sharing articles and being on the computer at home. And also like enough time for community and healthy living, getting, you know, eating food, good food, getting food from the good places, which being at the farmers markets 2 times a week helps with so much. Just already being there and being able to like trade with the other store holders is amazing, because before I just wasn't getting the time to drive to the farmers markets at all, and I was too tired to do that on a Saturday. So yeah, I feel like for my personality type, everyone's different, but my self-care is really having the time for what I want to be a part of, whether that is like my small business or activism, being able to support my friends who are having babies or who are mums already, having time for them. And then also being able to spend time like on the farm at home and not always being out and about, because there's just always so much to do, and you really need to like be able to spend time, I think, at your farm or your garden to put in that extra effort and energy, and harvest the plants and sow the seeds and dry the seeds and then actually put them away before they get eaten by something. And yeah.
I love that, Hannah. I love that really broad, overarching framework and how it kind of shapes the way that you live your day to day, but also your goals for the future and how you see your new little person fitting into that matrix.
Yeah.
And that's actually a really different description to most people have given me what self-care means to me. And I feel like that's your permaculture head coming in, that big systems thinking.
Yeah, I got so much out of my permaculture Cert 3 course. That was 2 days a week for 7 months at the Mullumbimby Community Gardens. Not so much gardening knowledge, but very much that systems-based thinking, incorporating like all the different aspects into your life and doing mind maps and planning. And I always just kind of draw out little circles. I'll have like 3 or 4 circles of like the most important things to me at that current time. And they're usually like a mix of practical and I guess spiritual and, body care kind of things. Like they're a mix of all different aspects of life, in those circles. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed doing the permaculture course, and I was very inspired after that course to think about how we can kind of, just be a part of healthy living, sustainable living, and make an impact, a positive impact on the world and people around us. But yeah, I also do love like, herbal teas, and baths, and just kind of like incorporating teas and herbs into my life. Like I love nettle. It's probably one of my favorite herbs. So I'll usually like make a overnight infusion of nettle and drink it like in the morning. And at the moment I've like got a nice tea mix that I'm drinking. It's nettle, oat straw and rose. And because I'm kind of on the, nutritive and like blood building kind of vibe of herbs at the moment, because I'm in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy. So it's been awesome going back into the herbal realm with the pregnancy glasses on and learning about all these like new herbs which I hadn't really known of before, like things like hawthorn berry, even like California poppy and hops. I'm like using them in the evening for like nighttime sleep, so my sleep isn't so disruptive. So yeah, I do like self-care through like my herbal teas and herbal elixirs, as well. And I really enjoy that part of the day in the morning or like coming into like the sunset where I kind of have my herbs for the day. And that's definitely part of my self-care.
I love that you're leaning into that blend of nettle, oats and rose. That's just so beautiful and nutritive.
Yes, totally.
It's like pouring a beautiful herbal multivitamin in, isn't it? It's just so yummy and it's so vibrant.
Totally. Yeah, it's been real fun like making some different herbal mixes, and I'm about to make like a molasses kind of mix as well with some of the herbs in it as like another blood building syrup. So I'm really excited for that. I've been doing this great course with the Vermont Center from the US, just about herbs in pregnancy. And it's been really eye-opening to just like hear about all these different herbs and how to use them, and just that, you can use all these different herbs while you're pregnant. You don't have to be like afraid of herbs and stuff, which is, I guess, contradicts the usual kind of thing where people say, oh, you shouldn't have this or you shouldn't have that. So it's been great. They're very progressive, and a lot more like open to a wide range of herbs. Yeah.
And I guess that's looking back, isn't it? It's historically that these herbs have been used by women for centuries at this time of their lives, and that knowledge has been lost. And as you said, there's been lots of fear mongering, and so women are too frightened to use herbs in pregnancy. But I love that you're leaning into that and expanding your knowledge so that you do feel safe and confident using them, and you're really caring and nourishing your body in that way.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. It's an awesome journey.
Yeah, and I think too, as you make your way through this journey from pregnancy through to motherhood, that will all flow through into how you care for Bubba too.
Yes, that's like a whole other sector, like that I'm like yet to research too much about, but I'm getting ready. Like herbs for kids. I'm excited.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So when you were talking about elixirs, are you making those yourself with honey?
Yeah. So I kind of did like a bulk herb shop at Nimbin Herbs in Nimbin. Yeah, which is somewhere I got to know when I was working at Solemn Farm, because Solemn Farm was supplying some of the herbs to them, which was really awesome because they're really into like localizing herbs. So I just kind of did like a big dry herb shop there, and then I've been like mixing the teas, and I'm gonna make the molasses syrup, and maybe a few tinctures if I get time. Otherwise, I'll just buy the tinctures. But yeah, it's just amazing having all the herbs spread out, especially the new ones that I hadn't really used much, like marshmallow root, which really helped me for like heartburn actually, and like indigestion. And astragalus, motherwort, just ones that I hadn't like really connected with before. Whereas like nettle and lemon balm I know really well and just love. But yeah, so it's exciting.
So lovely to hear. Lovely to hear that your knowledge is expanding and you're inviting more of those friends.
Yeah,
it's so nice to hear.
Totally. It's so much fun.
Do you mind sharing what you do to make an elixir? Is that okay?
Yeah, well, it's actually something I haven't done before. In the terms of like making it with molasses. Yeah, so I haven't actually done it before, so it's a bit new for me. But I've just got like a pomegranate molasses like from my local IGA actually. And I'm imagining that I'm gonna like mix that in with just like a normal molasses so I have more of it. And then I was thinking that I would kind of like simmer on a really light heat the herbs that I was going to use in the molasses, and then maybe let it sit for a few days, and just like infuse it in, and then have that like in my breakfast every day basically. Which is,
and are you hoping for this mix to be like a beautiful sort of iron rich nutritive? What sort of herbs will you be popping in there?
So this one is going to be like the nettle, the hawthorn berry, what else is going to be in there? The oat straw. Yeah, so it's going to be like a nutritive and also, like iron blood building, exactly. and iron.
Because that molasses is so beautiful and iron rich and really
Yeah,
nourishing.
and obviously, like in pregnancy, I'm sure everyone has the issues of being low in iron. So yeah.
That sounds beautiful, Hannah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Do you mind if we jump in now to like a bit of a more of a deep dive into hemp and the ways that what you're using, like letting people know how the hemp is used, what form it's used in, how they can incorporate it into their day-to-day, how you incorporate it, what parts you're using?
Yes. So, yeah, we grow the hemp seed, but then our product that we make is mostly the hemp seed oil and the byproduct of that, which is hemp bran, which is kind of like a hemp flour, like a baking flour. So each seed has 30% oil content in it. So we press the seed for the oil and then we get this byproduct of fiber. So talk about the oil first. The oil is like the omega 3 and 6 mostly, and a little bit of 9. So the oil is like mostly the good fats, basically, like the really good fatty acids, and the omegas, which like are the fats, which are in the hemp seed oil. And so that is just like amazing, I find, in general, like as a nutritional fat kind of oil. I mostly put it in my I definitely put it in my breakfast every morning, and that's like with my muesli. So like muesli, yogurt, hemp seed oil. Soon I'll have this molasses mix to add into it. Dates, because I'm on the date thing as well. And yeah, I just really like to have it in the morning because it's kind of like having your good fats in the morning. And then I would try and put it into a salad or like on top of food that we've already cooked. It's not really an oil that you cook food in. It's more something that you use as a cold oil. So like that's why muesli and smoothies is so good, but also salads and also like on top of cooked food is fine as well. And it does have like a boiling point of 150 degrees. So it's not like you can't heat it, but you do lose a lot of that nutritional profile if you do heat it. So we recommend to people to have it as a cold oil, but like a light simmer is fine, or using it on top of cooked food is fine as well. And yeah, like.
And what sort of amount are you putting, like when you say you're having your breakfast, like for example, if someone wanted to use it, how much would you put over at a time?
Probably like a tablespoon worth. Like, that's probably quite a bit. You could just do like a drizzle, but like a tablespoon worth is like recommended. Like that's how much you'd use like for your flaxseed oil or your fish oil. So I guess like you're treating it as an oil like that as well. Like for elderly people or people who don't enjoy the taste that much on their food, which some people don't because it is quite nutty, I just say that they can just like have a tablespoon in their mouth even. Like they don't have to mix it with anything if they don't, want to have it like within the flavor of their food. I love it. I think it tastes amazing. Especially because it's always so fresh when we press it, because we do that like small batch, really fresh oil. So it's never older than 3 months or so when we sell it. So it's really like vital and nutty. But yeah, not everyone loves it. So if they still want to have the benefits of the hemp seed oil, then I just recommend they just eat it as it is and then eat something else. So it's not like all in their flavoring.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I think I read on your website that it's really quite rich in minerals too, like calcium and iron and magnesium. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. It is. Like, it has like a magnesium content, an iron content, and calcium. Yeah, and like, I can't remember the specific numbers, but just from 2 tablespoons a day, people can look it up on the internet as well, you can get like a full dosage of magnesium and the calcium as well in that. So it's pretty amazing, actually.
Absolutely. So you've spoken about having it on your cereal, like on your muesli in the morning, maybe like as part of a salad dressing, drizzled over warm food, or even off the spoon.
Yeah.
What about? I know that you also use it topically for skincare. What are some ways that sort of happens?
Yeah, so I love to put it on like after a shower, or like before going out, especially at the moment. It's been such dry, cool weather. So I'll just put like a little bit on my face. It's a really nice face and body oil, because of all the beautiful fats, and also it's like an emollient oil, which means it like moisturizes your skin without blocking your pores. So it doesn't like clog up and block your pores, but it leaves your skin feeling very soft and supple after you put it on. Like, very beautifully smooth. Amazing on the belly. Like, I've been using it a lot on my belly. And like really nice for kids as well. Like, my one friend, her baby's about 9 months now, and she's like, I've only ever put your hemp seed oil on my baby. Like, she loves it. So I'm definitely looking forward to using it with my baby too, like just like as a moisturizer. And you don't need much of it. That's the thing. You only need like a few drops or so. It goes a long way. And it really easily absorbs into the skin. So yeah, like just putting it on like after a shower, putting it on any dry spots. People use it for eczema as well, and any skin rashes, as it still does have some of those anti-inflammatory properties. Not as much as like CBD and the other parts of the hemp plant, but it still has like enough in there for it to be useful for skin rashes and skin issues, and like sun damage and stuff like that. So that's really awesome. And yeah, also the hair. I put it on my hair as well, and like, you know, my scalp and stuff, and brush it through. Yeah, again, like not too much, because it is quite valuable and like a little bit expensive, I guess, in the small scale way that we are producing it. So I just let people know that, you know, they don't need to lather it everywhere. A little bit does go a long way. And yeah.
And what about that calendula and hemp seed oil balm you were talking about?
Yes, that is amazing. So that is really good for like sunspots, and like anything that has been in the sun, like any little skin spots, blemishes, like scars. I've been using it on like a burn scar I have on my tummy. Yeah, that's an amazing product. I really love that one. And then there's also the hemp bran, as we call it, which is the fiber and the protein. So that's everything else that doesn't come out from the oil, is then like we mill that up basically, and it's kind of like a baking flour, or you can put it in your breakfast again, put it in bliss balls, chocolate. That's where most of the fiber and the protein is. So all the fats kind of come out in the oil, and then the leftover is like this beautiful fibrous protein, like dark green, beautiful mix basically. And yeah, we're just starting to like package that and kind of get it off to different people. Like some friends who make pasta have made like a gluten-free pasta with it. A few people have made bread with it. I'm making bliss balls with it at the moment for the markets, with lots of yummy other stuff in it. So that's like a cool product as well that I hope can get out there.
So that's essentially the ground up seeds that have the oil has
Yeah,
been
that's
pressed out
basically
of.
everything else. So the 70% left of the seed that doesn't have any oil in it, then comes out of our oil press and we grind that up, and that's the hemp bran.
And is that something that you could add to a smoothie as well? Is that kind of a nice thing to add
Definitely,
in
yeah.
to a
Especially
smoothie?
people who are trying to up their fiber intake. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And it's nice because you can have it raw, but you can bake with it as well. So it's like ready to eat as it is, just like as a ground up seed basically, but you can also bake with it. But we recommend using another flour with it as well. So like even just 25% of the hemp bran and then some other flours to help whatever you're baking stick together more, because it doesn't really have that sticky component that other flours have. But it makes beautiful bread and it becomes like this earthy green colour, nice pizza bases.
Yum. So nutritious.
Yeah, totally.
I love that you're using the I love you're using the byproduct and how it's not just about the oil, but you're actually using everything, every part of that seed, in all different ways, and how it's making its way into your life in different ways.
Yes. Yeah, we're definitely big on like trying to use all parts of the seed and even like the hemp plant in general, but that's like there's just so many parts of the hemp plant that you can use that it has been kind of good to just focus on the seed and the byproducts of the seed, because there is just so much with hemp, which is why it was such an amazing plant to focus on trying to work with, in terms of like sustainability and moving away from extractive resources into more plant-based economies, because hemp does offer so much.
The real all-rounder. I've really loved hearing about your journey with hemp, but also the way that other medicinal plants have made their way into your life in different ways, from experiencing them on solemn to your current journey with learning about herbs for pregnancy. It's been really lovely to hear. And I don't want to make any assumptions. I think I might already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you, what plant do you have the deepest connection to and why?
Yes. Well, like, I guess the obvious one in a sense, like, would be the hemp plant and the cannabis sativa in general. So it's all one species of plant, actually. Like the cannabis sativa includes the THC plant and the hemp plant, which is quite interesting. Like they're just got different variations of the THC levels. So it is just like scientifically and kind of, I guess, scientifically known as cannabis sativa. And, just doing our market stall at MardiGrass, which was just this weekend past, it was like a full honouring of the cannabis plant and all its different uses, from the way that it, helps people with their medical issues, to its benefits for food and fibre, to the way that it, brings people together and has been used for hundreds and thousands of years. So I definitely was just involved in like a full honouring of the cannabis sativa plant. And, you know, this year there was like 5 senators there from the Legalised Cannabis Australia Party, which was quite amazing to see. Yeah, so it is, you know, there are kind of leaps and bounds happening, but it's also very slow at the same time. Just reflecting on another MardiGrass, which I guess it's the 31st year this year. So for 31 years, people have been campaigning for the legalization of cannabis. And hopefully it's not too many more, even though I'm not sure. Probably will take a long time. But yeah, I do love like being able to farm and grow the hemp plant legally with a license and experimenting with all its different uses. Like I'm often making some string from the fiber, or like boiling fibers to like see their different colors. And we've made like a building, like a small kind of feature wall from the hempcrete, which was just so beautiful. And it is an amazing medicinal plant as well, but it also works so well with other medicinal plants like that hemp and calendula balm. And like there's, all sorts of different things like tulsi as well, which is an adaptogen and relaxant. Obviously, even the oats, for example, I think they go quite well together because oats is like another grain crop, which also has its different uses, like the oat straw and then the milky oats, which are quite medicinal. And I probably like at the moment have been mostly connecting with like the nettle plant, I think, which I just really, really love. I just feel like it's such an amazing plant as well, like so good for building iron and relaxing, and it's so accessible and affordable, whether you get it from your health shop or you have it growing in one of your riverbanks and you can put some gloves on and just harvest it and dry it. It's such an awesome plant, and I'm just so glad that it's like affordable for people. And I really, really love nettles. So like the hemp is always there for me because it's like the crop that I work with, and it's like part of my small business, and I love it a lot. But I also think its greatest charm will be like working with other plants as well. And even on the farm, like when we do get our own place, we hope to not just be growing hemp. We want to diversify, and have, maybe hemp and oats, maybe some rice, then hopefully some other medicinal herbs as well. And hemp will be like the pioneer plant to hopefully help us remediate the soil and get the place to a point where those other kind of more sensitive crops can grow without like the weeds and grass infestations that a lot of these overgrazed paddock areas out west do have these issues with, like a lot of the Parramatta grass and the different weeds that have come because of like a low calcium rate basically in the soil. So hemp would be the answer, but as a gateway to all these other amazing plants and herbs.
I love this vision you have of hemp being there and being the grounding herb, and then all of these other ones coming in as the land becomes more available, and that hemp is creating that availability for other herbs to thrive alongside.
Yes, totally. And then I just thought as well, lotus flower is one that I've really been loving lately, and like coming into the birthing world, just like trying to connect with the lotus and like the image of the lotus and the femininity of it. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying lotus as well, and hope to get out and harvest some soon. I'm hoping there's some still around somewhere, but I might have totally missed the rest of the season. But yeah, lotus as well is very beautiful.
A beautiful herb for you
Yes,
at this time in your journey.
Right. And that's the thing with herbs, I guess. Like it's all about the time and the place, really. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hannah, it's been such a really lovely weaving and winding conversation, and I've really loved hearing how permaculture has influenced your concept of self-care and how it's really quite broad, and it's actually about the way that you live your life rather than looking down at the nitty-gritty. Before we finish up, I was wondering if you mind sharing ways that people can connect with you. You mentioned the farmers market, and I think there's a website as well.
So I'm at the farmers markets in Nimbin on a Wednesday, which is 3 till 6. And then in Lismore, I'm at the Lismore produce markets on Thursday, which is also 3 till 6. And then we have an Instagram, which is hemp.threads. THREADS, like clove threads, and also a website which is now finally up and running again, which is www.hempthreads.com.au. And yeah, you can always feel free to send me an email if you have a question. And on the Instagram, we try and share like a lot of the process of the farming, and also when we're in the kitchen actually pressing the oil and making the different products and bottling it. And yeah, so yeah, any of those avenues, feel free to check out our oil. And it really is amazing because of the way that we do it in a small batch, and it's really fresh. Like, would probably be hard in this day and age to find oil that is pressed so freshly like that. So yeah, it is an amazing opportunity to try the oil freshly pressed.
It's so vibrant.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. We will include all of that information that you just shared in the show notes too, so that if people are listening, they can check through to the website and your market dates and your Instagram page, so people will be able to connect with you that way. Thank you so much, Hannah. It's been such a lovely chat, Jess, and I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks so much for having me on the beautiful podcast. It's been great to reflect on everything and answer these questions.
I'm so glad you tuned into this episode of Self-Care with Herbs, a segment of the Elder Tree podcast. The Elder Tree is a non-profit dedicated to empowering people through grassroots herbal education and earth skills, weaving a strong community of herbalists, healers and plant folk in Australia. The Elder Tree is in the beginning stages of creating a grassroots herbal education centre and healing sanctuary on the Atherton Tablelands, far north Queensland. You can head over to theeldertree.org to find out more and follow the journey on Instagram and Facebook. You can also donate to the Elder Tree via our podcast channel on Anchor or via the website. If you liked the episode, we'd love you to subscribe, and if you know who we should interview next, drop us a line. I hope you found something in this episode that has inspired you to begin to lean into those plant allies and to experience your practice of self-care blossoming and blooming. I look forward to sharing more ways you can weave plant medicine into your days next month.